There are times where I find myself totally oblivious to the amount of hours I spend on doom scrolling reels. I'm sure you have too. Why? Why have we done something like this? Well, there's a neurotransmitter that is produced in your brain that transmits signals between neurons known as dopamine. Dopamine pretty much takes a critical role in motivation, learning, and memory and all that. It's pretty much that feeling of happiness we get after we get something we want after a long day. I know I've referenced this book a lot in my past videos, but Atomic Habits also talks about dopamine a little bit when they reference their research, and I kind of wanted to highlight this. There was an experiment where scientists were running tests on rats and blocked their dopamine receptors. Once they did that, the rats pretty much lost all their will to live. Some even died from thirst. They didn't feel like getting up. Some scientists continued with the research, and with the experiment, they inhibited the blocker, and the rats built habits at rapid speeds. Apparently, their cravings were so strong that they began poking holes with their noses in the box around 800 times per hour. It's crazy. This is an example to show how important dopamine really is, and I feel like not many people really know what it is. And I kind of want to talk about it, because we do the same thing with our dopamine, with our phones. Because it's a fixation that we feel good with and that our phones give us easy dopamine. The brain has more neurons for wanting rather than doing, which is why we feel more excited when we anticipate something rather than getting what we want. That's why it's so easy to get addicted to things. Your brain wants access to easy dopamine and your phone gives it. What was once meant for easier communication has now divided us by so much. We completely normalize our behavior with our phones, and I'm not no saint either. Like, I'm also addicted. I have my own phone because I need to use it to communicate with other people. It's a part of social life. Now, where does this bring us? Why is it bad to get dopamine from our phones? Well, if you're anything like me, you won't stop. There have been countless times where I have been on my phone and I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna get off at 8 p.m. After that, I have to get to work. So I keep scrolling till 8 p.m, but then I lose track of time. And I check the time again and now it says 8:17 p.m. So now I kind of feel awful and I'm like, oh wow, I just missed the time I was supposed to get up and do my work. And 8:17 feels like a pretty weird time to get up. So then I tell myself, might as well just get up at 8:30. That's literally something that happens to me. I don't know if this shit is relatable. It's something I've gone through so many times. Why does this happen? Because the reels and TikToks we watch reinforce the dopamine, and so you don't stop because you're so comfortable. And when you finally get off your phone and start doing your work, you realize how tired you are because the dopamine high you were just on has passed by, because it's a chemical that manages your memory and learning mechanics. And now you can't work. This has happened to me so many times. And the worst part about all this is that all the energy that you had has been given to the things you consume. People online want all the views on their products and the dances they do on social media because they can make a profit off of that. They don't care about you at all. They just want the views on it. Even on Twitter, there are people that literally bought their accounts. You probably have seen this if you're on Twitter. There are people that bought likes on their tweets so that people could see it in their algorithm and they can engage with it. Because if people do that, it starts getting traction. Whoever posted that tweet gains profit off of that. They gain money off of that. That's what the large portion of social media is now. And that's what we keep falling for. I want to tell a story. It's just a small story. This past summer, I was going out almost every day, just on walks. It wasn't anything planned. I would just go on a walk for like an hour or two, sit by the lake, and it was amazing. I didn't have headphones on or anything. There was literally a moment one time I remember where I stood and I just listened to the birds chirping because it made me feel so nice and nostalgic because I haven't experienced that in so long. You could call me a loser, I don't really care. I was just enjoying myself. Back in high school, I had a couple friends who I would kind of get into like little arguments with because I didn't want to smoke weed or drink with them. A large part of it was because I was scared. But looking back on it now, I'm happy I didn't make that choice because I didn't want to have to depend on that for my fixation of being happy. I don't know about any of you, I'm someone who has a very addictive personality. Of course, my phone usage is still a problem and I'm still trying to tackle that. And what we can do is a method, which I again learned from Atomic Habits, where we make it super inconvenient for ourselves to have our phones. I don't know about you, just something I do is that every time I go to bed, I'm on my phone and I put my phone on the side and I go to sleep. And then when I wake up, I go back on my phone again. And I do this because it's the first thing I see. I wake up and I see the phone on the side. I can just pick it up and use it. That happens to me every morning. Every morning I have to look at my phone. This really shows that my phone has so much control on that literally the first thing I do is grab my phone and start using it. It's like the phone has a spell on me that I just can't get out of. So something that may work for you is right before bed is to put your phone somewhere very inconvenient for yourself. So that way when you wake up in the morning, you won't use your phone first thing in the morning. Of course, this doesn't solve the whole issue, and you can't just suddenly stop an addiction, but it's important to understand that you can't just go cold turkey either. Start with the smaller things that make it a bit more inconvenient. Find ways to make work-related tasks more attractive. When you finally lower your dopamine levels, you're gonna realize how much work you can really get done, and how much that fun is taken away from you. So take back control, and go outside. Enjoy the greenery. That's the place you spent in your whole childhood, and I'm sure you'll fall in love with it all over again, just as your younger self once was. That's it for this one, y'all. Take care.